Hello, everybody. Welcome to the new episode of my podcast, Pegaso Nutrition. Yes, you hear correct. Lobo Spirit podcast. It doesn't exist anymore because I wanted to have everything the same name, that it's not confusing. So now it is Pegaso Nutrition, like my company name, that you can find me much easier. So, who doesn't know me, I am Žaneta Bigova and I'm the founder and owner of Pegaso Nutrition. I'm certified holistic nutritionist and I'm using a lot of the functional approach and holistic approach to actually find the root causes of your health concerns. So today's episode, it's actually up to the request of one person that asked me to talk about it, and it's about cortisol. Because more and more people are actually under a huge stress, especially in the West world, and they need to they need help and they need to know how to handle it and what is it about actually. So you cannot get explanation at the doctor office, they don't have time for it. But I'm going to talk about how to deal with that actually holistically, functionally, naturally. At the end, I'm adding a little bit bonus, and it will be about menopause and cortisol, because that's really huge topic, and I got many requests what is it, what is happening in the body, the hormones, and what's going on. So the women wants to know more, wants to understand, but as we know, everybody is different. So I cannot talk about each of you, unfortunately. Then you will have to come to my clinic and do the consultation and all these things around. But I'm going to talk about it actually generally. What is it, menopause? The cortisol, where is the connection? With the hormones, the progesterone, estrogen, and so on. So I'm going to dive a little bit deeper, but it will be at the end. So when I'm going to say thank you for listening, then I will start the edition. So if you don't want to listen, it's not your kind of stage of life, then you can just stop that and you don't need to listen. But when you come to the stage of life of perimenopause, menopause, then you can watch that again and just the end part. So that it is for the beginning. So cortisol, the stress hormone that's quietly draining your health. It is, unfortunately. So this is all about through the holistic, functional, and naturopathic perspective. Okay? Little disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a healthcare provider. So all these podcasts is just educational purpose. I'm not recommending, suggesting anything to anybody. If I'm going to say something like that, it's from my own experience or from my client's experience that I got permission to share that. But if you need a little bit more testing, like the blood work and about your hormones and especially cortisol, you need to go and see your healthcare provider and ask for it. So now let's start. So today I'm talking about one of the most misunderstood hormones in modern life. It is true. So that is cortisol. Many people have heard of cortisol, of course. They know it has something to do with stress. Some people think cortisol is really bad. Others believe it is responsible for weight gain, insomnia, anxiety, burnout, and aging. The truth is much more interesting. So cortisol is not your enemy. In fact, cortisol is essential for life. So without cortisol, you wouldn't wake up in the morning, because cortisol rise really in the morning. That's what actually helps us to wake up. So that's true. Without that, no waking up. So you wouldn't be able to regulate blood sugar. You wouldn't be able to respond to danger. You wouldn't survive illness, infection, and injury. So the problem is not cortisol itself. The problem is living in a world that constantly pushes our cortisol system beyond what it was designed to handle. So today we're going to explore cortisol through holistic, functional, naturopathic, psychological, and even psychosomatic lens. Because psychosomatics, I believe, that's actually kind of not one of the root causes of all kind of illnesses and health concerns. So what we are going to discuss. What cortisol actually does, what modern life keeps it elevated, the connection between cortisol and anxiety, depression and emotional health. Childhood stress, parenting stress, menopause at the end, aging, trauma, self-worth, self-love. That's a very interesting point that I'm going to talk about a little bit deeper. Herbal medicine, of course, adaptogens, functional nutrition, sleep, breath work, nervous system regulation, and ancient practices supported by modern science. And again, by the end of the episode, you will understand why healing cortisol imbalance is not simply about taking a supplements or medication. It's about rebuilding safety within the body. So let's begin. What is cortisol? Cortisol is a steroid hormone produced by the adrenal glands. So the adrenal glands, they sit on top of your kidneys. They are kind of the cup on it. So they are very small but incredibly powerful organs. So cortisol is a part of what scientists call the HPA axis, and that stands for hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. That's the connection. Right? Hypothalamus in the back of the brain, pituitary, they really deep in the back, and adrenal, so it's going like that. So think of it like as a communication highway between your brain and your adrenal gland. So when your brain detects stress, the hypothalamus sends a signal. The pituitary sends another signal. And the adrenal glands then release cortisol. So you can see how it's going from the top down. So that's why that psychosomatic things you can see now, it's actually kind of one of the most common root causes of high cortisol. So this system evolved to keep us alive. Imagine our ancestors walking through the forest. Okay, just an example. Suddenly, they hear movement in the bushes. The brain immediately asks one question: am I safe? If the answer is no, cortisol rises immediately. Heart rate increases, blood sugar increases, inflammation temporarily decreases, alertness increases, energy increases. Everything shifts towards survival, right? So it's kind of, sometimes we feel the same when we are excited, actually. But this one is that nervous system. So the problem is that modern stress looks very different. Today, the lion is no longer in the forest. The lion is your mortgage, your inbox, your social media feed, your toxic relationship, your financial worries, your chronic illness, your loneliness, your unresolved trauma, your fear of failure, your fear of not being enough. And unfortunately, the body responds to emotional threats almost the same way it responds to physical threats. So the body cannot always distinguish between I'm being chased and I'm overwhelmed. Both create a cortisol response. So the body kind of don't make differences between those, right? So it's just danger for the body. So the cortisol going up immediately. But why high cortisol is so common these days? So humans were never designed to live in a constant state of stimulation, of course. Yet modern society rewards exactly that. Many people wake up exhausted, immediately check their phone, drink coffee, rush to work, skip breakfast, but we don't need to have breakfast immediately. That's not a big issue, especially when you are under the stress. It's actually better not to eat. Because when going to a little bit stop about it, the breakfast topic. So if you are under the stress, your cortisol is really high. What I do, and I recommend actually to my clients when they are going through this, is better not to eat anything right away. Just wait. If it is like, oh, I need to catch the bus, I need to catch the train and the traffic and so on, and you are under the stress because of that morning craziness, then leave it and eat something when you get to work, to the office, whenever that you feel, yeah, I'm here, I made it on time, or I'm just a little bit late, but it's fine. Now I can kind of breathe in, breathe out, and I can take something little. That's not a problem. You really don't need to eat right away after waking up. If you are in this stress, it's even worse for the body because it's more stress, because the digestion is not going to work properly and so on. So just it's better not to eat anything and eat when you feel that you kind of calmer, and so then you will a little bit enjoy it more. So that's about the breakfast. And of course, eat always protein and fat, no carbs in the morning, please. So take it after, but first protein and fat. So sit indoors all day. We do that, unfortunately. And we rarely see sunlight. We are still kind of under the artificial light, and that's not good. So about it, I would say, if you can, just 5 minutes in the morning, if you see the sun, look into it for a while, just really few minutes, not long time, but you will see how it's going to help you. So we rarely move. We are unfortunately living the sedentary life, and that's not good. So we need to move. And we even rarely rest, actually. So you can see we don't move, but we don't rest. So that doesn't work. That's not balance. So then wonder why we feel actually anxious at night. The body is receiving signals all day long that say, stay alert, stay vigilant, stay activated, stay prepared for danger. So that this keeps actually the sympathetic nervous system switched on all the time. So sympathetic nervous system is often called fight or flight, and we know very well what it means. So when this system dominates for months or years, cortisol begins to dysregulate. So some people develop chronically elevated cortisol. Others eventually develop flattened cortisol patterns where the body struggles to respond properly. So both situations can create symptoms. So let's talk about the signs of high cortisol. Many people assume high cortisol means feeling energetic. Actually, high cortisol often creates the opposite. So common signs include anxiety, panic attacks, brain fog, poor concentration, weight gain around the abdomen, that we start to kind of gaining the visceral fat, then sugar cravings, fatigue, poor sleep, frequent waking at 2 a.m., 4 a.m., irritability, hair loss, digestive issues, that's usually the first sign, elevated blood sugar, increased blood pressure, muscle loss, and reduced libido. So you can see all these signs. I think that now you're kind of thinking, I have probably like 90% of these signs already. So if you said yes, it's time to do something. So one of the biggest clues is feeling tired but wired. So your body is exhausted, but your nervous system cannot switch off. So you lie in bed, your body is tired, but your brain keeps running. You replay conversation, you worry about tomorrow, you create imaginary scenarios, you feel alert despite being exhausted. This is often a nervous system issue as much as a hormone issue. And now let's talk about the psychosomatic side of cortisol. So let's discuss something that many people overlook. The emotion component. Functional medicine often asks, what is driving the biology? Psychosomatic medicine asks, what is driving the emotional state? And that's what we do in holistic and functional medicine. We take the whole thing, the whole human, and we are trying to figure out the issues actually in the all processes, not just one. But that physiological root cause is usually the start for us, and then we continue because there is more and more coming. Of course, there is more things that trigger the cortisol and targets most of the organs in the body. So that's not the end, that's actually the beginning. When we're going to ask what is driving the emotional state, we don't know. We need to ask a lot of questions to you and kind of figure it out from your answers. But sometimes high cortisol is not simply caused by workload also. Sometimes it is driven by identity, by beliefs, by unresolved emotional patterns. Many people with chronic stress carry subconscious beliefs such as, I'm not enough. I must prove my worth. I must take care of everyone, and they're forgetting about themselves. I cannot disappoint people. I'm only lovable when I achieve. I must be perfect. I'm responsible for everyone else's happiness, but not mine. Imagine carrying those beliefs every day, 24/7. The body never truly relaxes. The nervous system remains hypervigilant. The subconscious mind constantly scans for danger, and cortisol remains elevated all the time. So this is why healing often requires more than supplements. It requires self-awareness, it requires self-compassion, it requires emotional healing. It requires self-love. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. That's usually my first question when I see my clients for the first time. Do you love yourself? And you should see the faces. They're not expecting that. And they usually like, what? What do you mean? Of course I love myself. Really? So what do you do for yourself that you love yourself so much? They don't know. They are not able to answer. So self-love, it's very important, because if you don't love yourself, how can you love others? How can you do what you do? How can you love your job? How can you love your hobbies? How can you enjoy the life if you don't love yourself? Because everything's coming from you first, not others. You are the first one. And when I have family consultation, I'm always saying to parents, think of yourself first, then your kids. Because if you don't love yourself, kids can feel it. And you will see what they're going to do to attract your attention and telling you, actually, you don't love yourself, mom. I have actually kind of good example, because this I was experiencing in my childhood. I saw that, especially, I saw that my parents actually don't love themselves. That's why they were acting on what they were doing, like even some punishments to us and so on. And it's like, it's not about me. And I was mentioning it especially to my mom so many times. I was like, just punish me. I know it's not about me. You are trying to resolve something in you, and you're using me. Stop doing that. That's why I had a lot of disagreement with my mom when I was small, really small. I have to say I was aware of this from very young age, and I'm grateful for it. I think that my grandmother kind of opened my mind and my eyes to see a little bit deeper and go deeper. So it's kind of in me since I remember. But again, that's what I see when I do family consultation, the disconnection, but especially disconnection, the parents, they are disconnected with their inner self. So they usually need to start to work on themselves, and then they see the changes throughout the whole family, and it's beautiful. So I love doing family consultation. But that's about the self-love, your homework. Start to love yourself first, and then you will see changes around you very quickly. I promise you, I've been there too. So now let's talk about the connection between low self-love and cortisol, because that's what I said, it's very, very important. So one of the most overlooked health topics, it's really self-love. So not the social media version, not bubble baths, not positive affirmation repeated without feeling, real self-love, what I talked about earlier. So the ability to feel worthy without earning it. Many people live in constant state of self-criticisms. So they criticize their body, their appearance, right? I don't look good, and I'm not going to wear this dress. What the people are going to say? Who cares? It's you, not them. If you feel great, wear that dress. If you feel great in that, go for it. Just put the people aside. They're not your life. That's you. Only you. So they even start to talk about their mistakes a lot, right? Oh my gosh, I made so much mistake, I will get fired. And the same with the productivity at work and so on, the achievements. They start to kind of be so negative that they actually start to attract that. They start to attract the mistake, low productivity, no achievements at work, because they have it there, stuck there. Don't have it there. Remove that. Get rid of these things. These thoughts, they are not yours. It's not you. Try to find yourself again. The same it's about the money, right? Everybody's complaining. I have low income. I don't know how I'm going to do that, and so on. Don't complain. As you know, I actually shared that I did a challenge, I think in April or May, 1 month without complaining. Don't complain, because it's all on you. It's your responsibility. Nobody else can give you more money at work than you. If you're not happy, start to look for another job with higher salary. That's not a problem, right? Just start to do something. I know, I can hear you. Yeah, of course, but I have family, I have kids to feed and pay the bills. Again, these all are just excuses how to not do anything. And you start to be addicted on it. So stop. Stop taking these drugs, I have to say, that you are addicted to it. Stop having these thoughts. And the life will be much better. And the same, it's about the parenting, the relationships, health. This is all, even all these, the self-love and so on, it's not it's not like about the stress, because imagine hearing criticism all day long. This is the psychosomatics. So we creating that. We are the creators of our life, nobody else. Remember that. Write it down. And when you have all these thoughts, look at that note. So that's all these criticisms and negative thoughts. That's actually eventually the body interprets that as a stress. It is. It's negativity. So we don't want that, because it is stress. So the brain cannot separate external criticism from internal criticism. Both activate stress pathways. Over time, this contributes to elevated cortisol. So when we begin practicing self-acceptance, self-compassion, mindfulness, and emotional resilience, and we often see improvements in nervous system regulation, sometimes very quickly. So this is not spirituality. Don't think that it's something that only shamans do and so on. No. This is neurobiology. This is neuroscience. If you want to know about it a little bit more, you can check Joy Dispenza, Dr. Joy Dispenza, because he's working on it very well. So, but this is all about, that your inner dialogue influences your physiology. So far more than most people realize. And believe me, it is like that. So because the negative thoughts and low mindfulness, low self-love, you just attract the low frequencies, low energy, and high cortisol. So if you want to switch that, then around, you need to start to do something. Look for the holistic nutritionists, functional doctors, naturopaths, or even if you really don't want to go to us, who is doing the alternative stuff, and just find the psychologist, psychotherapy, and other things, like even the family constellations are amazing for it. I've been there too, and it's wow. You can resolve a lot of things. So, and it's going to help you to calm down also. So there is so many ways these days. So it's been always here, but now finally we can talk about them and be open to it more and more. So go for it. Help yourself. Then let's talk about the cortisol and anxiety. Anxiety and cortisol have a powerful relationship. So high cortisol can contribute to anxiety, of course. Anxiety can also increase cortisol. This creates a vicious cycle. So the more anxious you become, the more cortisol rises. The more cortisol rises, the more anxious you feel. So many people attempt to solve anxiety by focusing only on the mind. But anxiety is often deeply connected to physiology. Blood sugar instability, poor sleep, inflammation, gut dysfunction, nutrient deficiencies, trauma, loneliness, lack of movement, lack of sunlight. We need sunlight. Vitamin D is for our immune system, and all this together. So all can contribute. So this is why a holistic approach is so important. So we must address both the mind and the body, because they are not separate. They are two sides of the same coin. So, anxiety. I've been there too. So I'm going to tell you my experiences. I had anxiety, I had depression. I'm going to talk about it right now. I had even panic attacks. And that's how I figured out what stress cortisol can do. But I even learned how the nutrition, the really rich, like the nutrient dense food, can help with that. And it was just my kind of study actually. And I didn't know much about it yet. I knew about nutrition because I studied it at school. I knew about the physiology and anatomy and everything. But the neuroscience, I was at the beginning. And I have to say, I always said to myself, okay, if you feel like that, eat something immediately. But I had to go through hell at first. That's how it all works. Usually we need to touch the bottom before we go up again, because before we rise up. So I had to actually figure it out. What is the anxiety? What is the panic attacks? Because panic attacks are that you feel you're dying, you have heart attack, you cannot breathe, right? You're choking and so on. So it's nothing funny, that's for sure, especially that you're in there on your own. I didn't have anybody around me to help me. Nobody understood what I was going through. And I actually even never asked for help, and that's wrong too. So, but I was annoying my neighbors. Can you drive me to the hospital? I think I have heart attack and so on. Wow. These panic attacks gave me so much knowledge about neuroscience and nutrition, the connection, that it was really, really amazing. I figured it out. If I take just few slices of bacon, I felt so much better, that I could breathe better, because breathing is very important during the panic attacks. So I started to feel a little bit calmer. I was like, okay, why bacon? Because my body asked for it. The body told me, hey, give me something, give me protein and fat. And I didn't know much about it yet. So it was incredible. And it is even about how much we need to listen our body, because our body talks to us 24/7. So listen to that. And if you want to know about you want to know more about this, how to handle the anxiety, depression, and panic attack, let me know. I can help you also. It's all together with the psychosomatics that I do actually in my clinic. So, but it's based on my own experience and science, of course, that I studied after. So that's about anxiety and panic attacks. So you can manage that quite well, even just with good nutrition. So, but again, everybody's different. So if you need help, you need to talk to me or others like functional naturopath doctors and do some examination testing if you want it, but you don't need to. Like for the anxiety, panic attacks and so on, you don't have to, but we just see through your meal journey what you eat and so on. So we kind of see where can be the issue in the nutrients. But other than that, you can kind of handle it. It's tough, but you can. So now let's talk about the cortisol and depression, because that's a little bit different. So interestingly, depression can also involve cortisol dysregulation, of course, and some individuals experience prolonged elevated cortisol, because depression is usually the long term. So others show a flattened cortisol response after years of chronic stress. The body essentially becomes exhausted, and many people describe feeling emotionally numb, disconnected. That's the depression. Unmotivated, not necessarily sad, just empty. This is where we must look deeper. Nutrition, inflammation, sleep, social connection, purpose, meaning, community, physical movement, all influence the cortisol system and all influence mental health. Healing rarely comes from a single intervention. It comes from restoring balance across multiple systems. That's how the body is connected. Everything is connected to each other. So now, because we talk kind of generally, but now let's talk about the cortisol across the lifespan, because it's not just about adults. right? So it can happen anytime in our lifespan. So in this section, I'm going to explore how cortisol affects people differently depending on their stage of life, their age. So one of the biggest mistakes in health is assuming that everyone experiences stress the same way. That's not true. Always you hear from me, everybody's different, everybody's so unique, so it's impossible. So teenagers' cortisol challenges are different from a mother's. A mother experiences stress differently than a man approaching retirement. So a retired individual experiences stress differently than a child growing up in a chaotic household. Yet the common thread remains the same. The nervous system is constantly asking, am I safe? And why not? That's the question the body always going to ask. So let's talk about cortisol in children. Children are incredibly sensitive to stress, incredibly sensitive. So their nervous systems are still developing, right? So it's not kind of settled. So unfortunately, children today face stressors that previous generation rarely experience. I'm always saying, poor you guys these days. It's really stressful for them actually to live. It's nothing fun. So I really feel sorry for them, but that's what I do because I trying to help them. But why is that? Because the excessive screen exposure, overscheduling, social media, family conflict, sleep deprivation, poor nutrition, emotional neglect. Research consistently shows that adverse childhood experiences can influence the HPA axis for decades. So a child who grows up feeling unsafe may develop a nervous system that remains hypervigilant long into adulthood. Many adults struggling with anxiety today are not simply responding to present circumstances. Their nervous system learned survival patterns years ago. So this is not weakness. This is adaptation. This is kind of that addiction I talked earlier about. So the body learned to survive. The challenge is that survival patterns can remain active long after the danger has passed, unfortunately. So let's talk about the teenagers and cortisol. Teenagers face a unique hormonal landscape. They have another stress about, right? Puberty already increases physiological demands. And now add academic expectation, body image concerns, social comparison, fear of rejection, constant digital stimulation. Many teenagers never experience true mental silence. Their brain receives information from the moment they wake until the moment they fall asleep. Their nervous system never fully recovers. This contributes to poor sleep, mood swings, anxiety, attention difficulties, low motivation, emotional dysregulation. One of the most powerful interventions for teenagers is often not a supplement. It is restoring natural rhythms. Regular sleep, morning sunlight, movement, family connection, very important one. Reduce screen exposure, important one. Meaningful social interaction, time in nature. Simple intervention often create extraordinary results. Believe me, it really works. Especially when somebody is going to tell them what is their life about a little bit. It's not about mobile, it's not about social media. No, it's not. So this is actually kind of responsibility of parents to guide their children to live a better life. So let's talk about the parents and cortisol, because that's a little bit different. Because parents frequently operate in chronic survival mode, of course, especially mothers. Many parents wake before sunrise, care for children, manage work responsibilities, handle household tasks, manage finances, support aging parents if they still have maintain a relationship, and somehow attempt to care for themselves. Many never fully rest. The result is often chronic stress adaptation. People begin believing exhaustion is normal. They become disconnected from their body's warning signs. So this is where burnout begins. Not from one stressful event, but from thousands of small moments of neglecting recovery. So that's what I talked about earlier when I talk about the family consultation. That's exactly it. So this is something more complex. And when the whole family comes to see me and try to figure out what's going on about the nutrition and other stuff in their families, for example, the children doesn't want to eat. My first question is always ask the child, why? Why is that? Why don't you want to eat? The kids, they're usually very honest and authentic. If they still like up to 8-9 years old, they can be very authentic and honest. Then when they are teenagers, there's a little bit, they adapted to the others programs already. So sometimes they don't want to even answer because they're afraid of parents' thoughts, assumptions about them. So if I can see that, I'm always saying, okay, parents, I'm sorry, but can I talk to the child, just me and the child for a while? Just for a minute. I need to get this answer for this question. And then the kids start to talk usually. So, and it's usually because they are disconnected with their parents. There is huge family disconnection. That's unfortunately usually the first response on this, on my question, why they don't want to eat, because they seek the attention from their parents. Why don't you eat veggie? Because my parents love veggie, and I know if I'm not going to eat, they will kind of look after me more and more. They will push me to give me veggie. And it's the same with other stuff, right? So always the parents are the first ones who need to show the kids what is their life about. Always trying to be the best example, not the negative one, not the person who is going to push your kids to do the things they don't want to do. Just let them be. They know what they do because they still listen to their body. I had the example from here in Europe. I went for a walk and I met a lady. She walked a dog. And she started to talk about her daughter, that she doesn't want to eat much. I was like, yeah, but how does she look like? Like, is she really skinny? You think that she has anorexia, bulimia? And so, no, I don't think so. But she's skinny to me. I was like, okay, so you worry about her. Yeah. And why do you think that she doesn't want to eat much? You think she doesn't eat much. Have you ever asked her how does she feel? If she feels hungry, if she feels full, and so on, anytime during the day. She didn't know. So I told her, communicate with your child is the best way how to figure it out. And then, of course, I told her what she should give her. And so I gave her a little bit consultation for free where we were walking around. But I didn't mind it because she was a little bit lost. But then when she started to talk about her work and so on, I was like, I think you are lost too. So I started to feel the disconnection between the child and parent. But so we talked about it. I told her some what I observed from her talking. And like 2 weeks after, we suddenly, like out of the blue, we just met again. And she was with her child, with her daughter. And I was like, hello, I heard about you. How do you feel? And so on. She was, no, I feel great. And so she didn't look that she's starving at all. No way. She looked totally fine. But her mother had just the information that everybody has. We should eat this and that. We should eat more of this than that. And so this is not good for us. This is bad for us. And she was trying actually to talk to her daughter this way. But when I saw the daughter, I was like, so how is it going? Everything's fine and so on. And how do you feel? And she looks so happy and fine. And I asked her, okay, so summer's coming, right? So it will be a lot of ice cream now. And so, I don't need ice cream. I was like, oh, really? Yeah, I think my body doesn't need it. She's 10 years old. I was like, oh, so your body doesn't think that it's needed to have ice cream. No, I don't want it. It's like, perfect. So what do you eat? What is your favorite meal? And so on. And she said, I like chicken. And I was like, that's great. It's great. Yeah. And I like cheese. I was like, perfect. Good for you. Right. And I said, so what about fruit and veggie? Oh, no, no, I think it's not that important for me. And that's what I like on kids. They talk about themselves only. And I love it, because we all should do that. Talk about ourselves, not others. So, but yeah, she was like, no, I'm not a big fan of that, and it's fine. I think I can live without that. It's like, okay, but she's eating bread. She said, yeah, I like the toast, and put the butter on it and salt, and I'm fine with that. I was like, perfect. And I never told her, don't eat this, don't eat that, eat this instead, and so on. No. To kids, it's not necessary. They have their own mind. They listen to their body. And if we're going to give them our programs, it doesn't need to be good for them. And if they are really, like they feel offensive, if we're going to tell them, oh, you need to eat veggie, it's healthy. So they know that the body doesn't want it, and that's it. And they're not going to eat it. Because if you're going to push them to eat it, you can develop actually the eating like disorders. So be very careful with kids. Push them, force them to eat something what they don't want. If they don't want, they don't want. They know if they're hungry. They know if they're not hungry. They know their taste. They know their appetite. So just be parent first and let them be. Until you see there is some danger, that you see that signs of anorexia, bulimia, and so on. Usually the arms are really skinny, so that's first sign. So then I would like, okay, let's talk about it. But if the child looks totally fine, they know what they're doing. And that's how we should learn from them, actually. Listen to your body. So that's a little bit controversial topic. If you don't like it, you don't agree, that's fine. I'm just talking from my experience, even from my own experience, and I could talk about it for years, what I experienced when I was a child. But I actually have to say I have a little bit more positive experience. But this a case of not even my client, just some kind of stranger I met when I was walking. So it's, and the lady said, okay, like she seems fine lately. I was like, yeah, and why? No, because, as you told me, so I look up for some information more and so on. And yeah, I mostly agree with the things you said. So I'm kind of calmed down. It's like, perfect. You calm down, your child's going to calm down too. So then the cortisol between the in parents and children, it's suddenly lower and they have a little bit happier life. So it's the cooperation, the collaboration. It's a little bit deeper. These processes to figure it out, but it's amazing to see the changes. And I was so pleased when I saw that. When she told me, I was like, wow, thank you, because this is what should be. And I'm glad it worked for you, because of course it doesn't need to be working for anybody else, just for them, and that's fine. So that was a little bit off the track, but now let's talk actually the menopause and cortisol. I'm going to talk about it just a little bit, and then, as I promised at the end, will be the bonus just about menopause and cortisol. So just do it kind of like generally for the moment. So this is an area where many women receive incomplete information. So during menopause, estrogen and progesterone levels decline. These hormones influence the stress response. Progesterone in particular has calming effects on the nervous system. As the progesterone decreases, many women become more sensitive to stress. So sleep disturbances increase, anxiety may increase, recovery becomes slower. The same stressors that were manageable at age 30 may feel overwhelming at age 55. So this is not weakness again, this is physiology. Supporting women during this transition requires attention to sleep, blood sugar regulation, mineral status, movement, protein and fat intake, stress management, nervous system regulation, community support, and emotional well-being. So more about it at the end of the bonus part. So now let's talk about the aging and cortisol, because that's another part of that like lifespan. So as we age, resilience often decreases. So recovery takes longer. Sleep becomes lighter. Muscle mass naturally declines. The body becomes less forgiving of chronic stress. So elevated cortisol over many years may contribute to loss of muscle, bone loss, impaired immunity, cognitive decline, metabolic dysfunction. This is why healthy aging is not simply about adding years to life. It is about maintaining physiological resilience. And resilience depends heavily upon the health of the nervous system. So that's aging. Again, I could talk about it so long, but I cannot. So I'm always taking that generally. If you are interested in more in this topic, just let me know. I can do the separate episode about it. So now let's talk about the gut cortisol connection. So let's discuss one of my favorite topics, because if you know me, gut thing, it's my thing. So the gut and brain communicate continuously. There is no break. So this communication occurs through vagus nerve, that's my favorite topic about it, the immune system, hormones, neurotransmitters, the microbiome. It's a very important thing too. I love talking about microbiome. It's very, very important to have balance, good and bad bacteria, and which one we need to get. So even I usually recommend to go and test your microbiome and get that probiotics you really need just for you. I know some companies, they actually do that, but still the probiotics are great for the beginning. So you kind of switch that and so on, help. But then your lifestyle, your food, and all about this can change your microbiome, even you take good probiotics. So just that you know, and if you're going to be under the stress, yeah, it's going to kill it actually. So you need to know what helps just for you. Microbiome is a very sensitive thing. So it's better to test it and take what you need, just you. That must be custom made for sure. So when cortisol remains elevated for prolonged periods, digestive function often suffers. Stomach acid production may decrease. Digestive enzyme production may decline. Gut permeability may increase, or gut, like leaky gut, we know this. Microbiome balance may shift. Inflammation may arise because microbiome is in balance. This creates another vicious cycle. So stress damages digestion, poor digestion increases stress, and the cycle continues. So this is one reason functional nutrition places such importance on digestive health. This is very important. So because a healthy gut helps create a resilient nervous system. And a resilient nervous system supports a healthy gut. So that's crazy, I know, but it really starts always with the nutrition. So now we kind of got that information. What is it about? What is causing that, or what are the reasons why we have the higher cortisol or lower cortisol and so on. But now let's talk about that evidence-based natural solutions for high cortisol. So let's talk about not like supplements, but what the nature has offered to us that can help with that, not just cortisol, but even other things about it. So let's move into practical solutions. Many people want a single supplement, a magic herb, magic pill, a miracle protocol. But cortisol regulation is usually about restoring balance across multiple systems. So let's begin with nutrition, because that's the most important thing. As I talk about breakfast, it depends when you take, it doesn't matter what time is it. Break fast means you breaking the fast, and it doesn't matter what time is it. Just listen to your body. So one of the simplest evidence-based intervention is consuming adequate protein and fat in the morning, especially the fat. It's really important for your brain. So, but many people begin the day with coffee, pastry, cereal, toast, juice. This creates unstable blood sugar. Blood sugar crashes trigger cortisol release. So the body perceives low blood sugar as a threat. A protein-fat-rich breakfast can improve stability throughout the day. Examples include eggs, bacon, Greek yogurt, fish. It's really, really good. I like to have a breakfast as a salmon, wild caught salmon. Amazing. Of course, quality meats. If you want some sausage, always get really that it's like 100% meat with some spices. Protein smoothies, why not? If you want something fast at the beginning of the day, why not? But always check the ingredients if you buy the protein as a supplement kind of. So in powder, always check that. If you want a good one, make your own. Greek yogurt, cream, or just cream and milk. The best, all dairy, it's better to get the A2 for sure. And mix it with fruit if you want. You don't need to add anything else. I would add cinnamon because it's really good for the circulation, and especially in winter because it helps you to actually warm up the body. So cinnamon, it's great also. And if you want something, just add a little bit of honey. Why not? Honey, it's perfect. That's only sweetener I kind of agree with. And then another one is dates. That's really like I can live with. So, and I can kind of, it's Janita's approved. Honey and dates or date syrup and so on. That's something I don't mind. But protein, why protein and fat? So these supports neurotransmitter production. So blood sugar regulation and satiety. It's going to make you full. That's what you need to feel. You need to feel full, but not that like too full. That's not good too, right? But if you feel a little bit like that, okay, now I'm good, I feel great, and then you go to work or you a little bit walk afterwards, that's very healthy to do, then you can actually kind of, it's going to help you to feel better and your brain will work better. So more energy, especially to your brain. So then of course we need minerals. So chronic stress increases mineral demands. It's stress depletes minerals a lot. So we need to replenish them. So first and most important, it's magnesium, especially for women, for sure. Potassium, sodium, zinc. All these we can get from nuts, meat, dairy, nuts, seeds like zinc, pumpkin seeds, plenty zinc, just quarter cup, and you find sodium. It's the quality sea salt, like the good one. It's actually the one from Austria, near the Dachstein. That's a really good one because that's 99.9% of sodium chloride naturally. It's from the rock, so we absorb that much better than from the sea or lake. And that's really the highest amount of sodium in the salt you can find. Magnesium, the most magnesium, and 3 kinds of magnesium has Baja gold sea salt. It's incredible salt for the magnesium. Then if you want the other ones like calcium, potassium, and so on, Celtic salt. Celtic salt, it's great as an electrolyte, no doubt about it. Always find the brand that they do the heavy metal testing and so on. Be sure, be safe. So we can find all this in the nature. Really, nature offers us everything we need. So, and in the natural form. So the body absorbs even more from that. So these minerals participate in hundreds of biological processes, not just for the cortisol, but many people under stress are unknowingly depleted. So magnesium is especially important because it supports nervous system regulation and muscle relaxation. So foods rich in magnesium include, as I said, the pumpkin seeds, almonds, cacao, of course, chocolate, and nuts. So all these meats and everything what you find in the nature, kind of. But just that you know, when it's plant-based sources, unfortunately, we don't absorb much. We absorb like 10% of that, so you need to take more. For example, the pumpkin seeds, they contain a lot of zinc, but we don't absorb that much. So it's better to take all these minerals and other nutrients from the animal-based sources, because we absorb actually 90% from that. So you don't need to eat much and you get more. So, you know, again, the nature. So then you can check the adaptogenic herbs. So adaptogens are usually plants traditionally used to support resilience to stress. So let's review several with the strongest evidence. First one is ashwagandha. I know when I'm in Canada, everybody is buying ashwagandha, but it's not for everyone. Okay, especially women, when they have already issue with the hormones, be very careful because it can mess up hormones even more. So again, everybody's different. But ashwagandha is one of the most studied adaptogen. There's no doubt. So research suggested it may support stress, resilience, sleep quality, and cortisol regulation in some individuals. So however, it is not appropriate for everyone. So people with certain thyroid conditions, should seek professional guidance, because that's why usually women actually figure it out that they have some thyroid issues taking the ashwagandha. So one of my friends, she couldn't sleep. And she said, I don't know why I'm not sleeping lately. I was like, are you taking any supplements? Yes, ashwagandha. Are you taking it in the evening? Yes. I was like, don't take it in the evening. And she started to feel better. She started to sleep. So ashwagandha should be taken like the latest time, like 3 p.m. But again, I know many women, they take it before sleep and they sleep amazingly. You know, that's the magic of being different and being unique, each of us. And it's beautiful. And I love it. So another one is rhodiola. Rhodiola has a long history of use, especially in the northern climates. So it may support mental performance, fatigue resistance, and stress adaptation. Many people report improved energy without overstimulation. That's perfect. Holy basil, also known as tulsi, traditional use in Ayurvedic medicine, so often described as a calming and grounding. Many individuals find it particularly useful during periods of emotional stress. Reishi mushroom. Reishi mushroom, it's my favorite one. It has centuries of traditional use. So it is often called the mushroom of spiritual potency and longevity. Modern research suggests potential benefits for immune regulation and stress resilience. So many people notice improved sleep quality and greater sense of calm. I usually recommend reishi a lot, especially during that menopause, and especially in the morning. It's amazing how it's helping. Like I have amazing experience with that. When I'm taking in the morning, I suddenly feel like, and now you can do whatever you want to me. I really don't care. And I love that feeling. It's really amazing adaptogen that it really helps most of people, and it's even good for kids. So just very little for them, but if your kid has like ADHD, ADD, and so on, try reishi in the morning and you will see. But again, doesn't need to work on everybody. Then the last one, what I have prepared for you, is saffron. And that's one of my really favorite botanicals. Saffron has shown promising evidence supporting mood, emotional well-being, and stress resilience. So it appears to influence serotonin pathways while also providing antioxidants effect. It's really good for your eyes, your vision. Saffron, it's amazing because there is a lot of vitamin A and astaxanthin and so on. Go for it. So it's kind of more in one. And I usually give the good example of saffron when it's really working with calming. Look at the Italians. They use that so much to their meals, and look at them. Kind of easy peasy life, right? Especially in the afternoons. So why not? Try it and you will see. And then a very important things about the cortisol is breathing. So let's talk about the breath work. One of the fastest ways to influence cortisol is through breathing. The breath is unique because it directly influences the autonomic nervous system. Slow breathing signals safety. Rapid breathing signals threat. One simple practice I'm going to share with you. Inhale for 4 seconds. Exhale for 6 seconds. And repeat it for 5 minutes. If you want, even hold the breath between inhale and exhale for 4 seconds. So it's 4, 4, 6. And the exhale should be always longer if you want to calm your mind, and should be actually done through the mouth. The nose breathing, always. That's very important. Stop breathe with your mouth. That's not good. So deep and slowly. You will see I'm doing that every single morning before my hormone yoga therapy. It's really amazing. There is more into it, the breath work. So, but as I mentioned, longer exhalation helps activate the parasympathetic nervous system. So the body's rest and recover mode. So let's try it. It's really just a few minutes. You know, that's, even if you're sitting on the bus, you're going to work, you're going on a train, even while you're driving, actually, you can do it. Be careful, of course, but you can. It's going to help you if you're stuck in the traffic. Start doing the breath work, and it's going to help you very well. So, another thing you can do, but it's not for everybody. It's really like for people who knows who lives closer to the nature, forest bathing. So in Japan, this practice shown as Shinrin-yoku, and forest bathing involves spending intentional time in natural environments. So numerous studies suggest benefits for stress reduction, mood, blood pressure, immune function. Sometimes the most powerful medicine is not found in a bottle. It is found beneath trees. And we know that. We really know that. And our body, it's even asking for it. So just give it to the body, at least like during weekends or in the evenings if you live close to the park. Just go. That bathing in the forest and so on, just try to even like mimic it in your bathroom, in the shower. Don't use just hot water. Just try to change the temperature of water, or just have just like lukewarm water in your shower, and you will feel it a bit, some essential oil, and just imagining that you are in the forest. That's going to help too. Don't worry. You don't need to go to the forest. So, and then what I said before, beneath trees, let's talk about grounding, because that's what it is. Beneath trees, that roots. And the whole holistic naturopathic functional stuff, it's about the root causes, right? So grounding remains controversial in some scientific circles, unfortunately. But however, many individuals report improvements in well-being through direct contact with natural surfaces. So walking barefoot, if you don't want to walk in barefoot, just buy the shoes. It calls barefoot because that's you feel like you are without shoes, but you actually wear the shoes. So, but it's cool. It's painful at the beginning, like the few weeks, but then and it's amazing. It's fixing even the spine issue and so on, nervous system for sure. So it's even like reflexology kind of. So, but it's the one option. If you don't want to do directly barefoot on the ground, just wear the shoes that calls barefoot, and it's going to help you to mimic that. So then, of course, gardening, but not everybody has the garden to do that. So, but sitting on the earth, we can do quite often, even if we live in the city. So at the minimum, grounding encourages time outdoors, movement, sunlight exposure, and connection with nature. So all of which support nervous system health, for sure. Then the next one is sleep, the most important one. No cortisol strategy can compensate for chronic sleep deprivation. So sleep is when the brain detoxifies, hormones regulate, tissue repair, memory consolidates, the body recovers, protects sleep, like your health depends on it, because it does. It really does. Sleep is the most important one. And again, what you can help to sleep better, take the magnesium bisglycinate before sleep. You can do the Epsom salt bath. You can even just walk on the Epsom salt. You just stand on it and just like do kind of the, like, again, the reflexology or pressure points. Just really step on the Epsom salt. It's incredible things too. Or just buy the magnesium oil and spray on your foot, and it's going to help you to relax and sleep better. Or take a fat before you go sleep. Drink really good heavy cream, or take like a teaspoon of butter, grass-fed butter. So it's going to help you too to sleep. And of course, not eating heavy meals before. So let's talk about the deeper roots of cortisol: trauma, purpose, connection, and healing. So before we finish this episode, I want to explore something deeper. So many people spend years trying to lower cortisol, yet they never ask why their body is producing so much stress chemistry. The body is intelligent. Symptoms often carry messages. Sometimes high cortisol is not caused by poor time management. Sometimes it is caused by living a life that feels unsafe, emotionally unsafe, relationally unsafe, spiritually disconnected. Trauma. Trauma is not simply what happened. Trauma is also what remained unresolved inside the nervous system. Two people can experience the same event. One recovers, one remains stuck in survival mode. Why? Because trauma is deeply individual. And everybody's different. Unresolved trauma often keeps the body preparing for threats that no longer exist. This can contribute to hypervigilance, anxiety, sleep disturbances, digestive dysfunction, fatigue, chronic inflammation. Many people attempting to heal cortisol imbalance eventually discover they must address unresolved emotional experiences. If you want to know something more about the trauma and all these things I'm talking about right now, you can check the Dr. Gabor Mate. He's guru of that. So, and he's doing a lot even for free. He's sharing his knowledge and experience, what he has over 40 years of doing that. So I highly recommend his work and books and videos, and it's going to help you to kind of realize what is it about the trauma and afterwards. So what about loneliness and cortisol? So humans are social beings, right? Connection, it's not a luxury. It shouldn't be a luxury. So it is biology. So loneliness is increasingly recognized as a major health concern. Humans evolve in tribes. Isolation historically increased danger. The brain still carries this ancient programming. Meaningful relationships provide signals of safety, and safety reduces unnecessary stress activation. So don't be alone. I believe that nobody can be alone. Nobody. And I think nobody is lonely. It's just in our head. So purpose and meaning. One of overlooked factor in stress resilience is purpose. So people who feel connected to meaningful goals often navigate stress differently. So purpose creates direction. Direction creates resilience, and resilience creates adaptability. That doesn't mean life becomes easy. It means suffering gains context, and context changes how the nervous system responds. And then we have movement, because movement is one kind of medicine. Movement is one of the most powerful cortisol regulators available, and it's usually for free. So, not punishment, not excessive exercise, not training under exhaustion, appropriate movement, walking, strength training, mobility work, swimming, cycling, dancing, gardening, singing, actually, it's movement also. The body was designed to move. We all know. Movement helps complete stress cycles that otherwise remain trapped within the nervous system. So, and let's talk about our ancestors. So, what our grandparents did differently. So, let's talk about the old-fashioned wisdom. Many traditional cultures naturally incorporated stress management into daily life. They walk more, work outdoors, maintain stronger community connections, cook meals from scratch, right? Spend less time indoors, experience fewer digital distraction, of course, had more face-to-face interaction, spend more time in nature. Many modern health strategies are simply rediscovering ancient practices. Sunrise exposure, shared meals, physical labor, community, rest, nature. These are not trends. These are biological necessities, and we have them, and it's for free usually. So no excuses. So that's kind of all I wanted to talk about. Not all, I could really talk more and more. You know my passion. All what I do is my passion, and I have to say all what I preach, I practice. So I don't recommend drink water and then I drink a wine. That's not me. I do what I preach. So you can believe me because even I'm actually doing some even experience on myself through the nutrition and psychological things, spiritual things, and all these holistic practitioners. So I'm open to try actually everything and share my experience. And then people have more and more choices, actually what to do, what to choose, what is better for them, what it's not. So just that you know, it's not just from my head everything, but I do a lot of research, I read a lot of studies, I talk to real scientists, and I follow the real scientists, and I usually mention their name, like today I mentioned them. So go and look up on internet and get some more information. They are really, really great. Their knowledge is amazing, and they help thousand people. So I promise they can help you. So, and if you need help, I'm here for you. just contact me on my website, on WhatsApp, email, anything, any contacts with me you can use, and you will find it on the website, which is www.begasoulnutrition.com, or you can just message me on Instagram, Facebook, wherever. I'm available for everyone in any age and in any health concerns you have. And if I don't know, I usually consult it with the person who knows. So that's our naturopath doctors, functional doctors, or even the other specialists that they know more about even microbiome, gut, or they do some more testing that I cannot actually kind of offer you through my clinic, but I can give you the contacts. So my final message for today: pause, breathe, reset. So you are allowed to slow down. Your nervous system will thank you a lot. So if there is one thing I hope you take away from today's episode, it is this: cortisol is not your enemy. Your body is not working against you. Your symptoms are not signs of failure, they are messages. Often they are signals we need to listen to. They are messages, request for attention, request for balance, request for recovery. So the goal is not eliminate stress. That is impossible in some cases. The goal is to increase resilience, to know how to work with that, how to handle it better. So to create a body and mind capable of adapting to life's challenges through nutrition, movement, sleep, connection, nature, purpose, self-compassion, self-love, and nervous system regulation. Remember, the body constantly asks one question: am I safe? Every healthy choice you make helps answer that question. And when the body feels safe, healing becomes possible. Thank you for spending this time with me today. And if you want to know more about the menopause and cortisol, you can continue to listen and watch the episode. And if you don't want, just stop. And if you need it later, you can listen and watch. But that's kind of bonus I'm giving today on upon the request. So my name is Janeta Begová, founder and owner of Begasoul Nutrition. And if you found value in today's episode, please share it with anyone who may be struggling with stress, anxiety, burnout, fatigue, hormone imbalance, gut issue, microbiome issue, imbalance, stress and a psychosomatics issue, anything. I'm here to help you. So until the next time, take care of your body, take care of your mind, and most importantly, take care of yourself first, then others. So because your health is your greatest investment. So thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting my podcast. Thank you for supporting me and my business. I really, really appreciate it. And I love you for that. Thank you so much. And if you're interested, continue. So here is the bonus segment. It's menopause, cortisol, and the stress response. So first part, it's going to be what is menopause, and everything will be upon the functional, holistic, and science-based perspective. So let's spend some time talking about a topic that deserves far more attention than it receives: menopause and cortisol. So many women enter menopause feeling confused, frustrated, exhausted, anxious, and often unsupported. They are told it's normal. You're just getting older. You'll have to live with it. It's natural. It is. But understanding what is actually happening inside the body can be incredibly empowering. Menopause is not a disease. It's really natural biological transition. So, however, it is also one of the most significant hormonal shifts a woman will experience in her lifetime. So, and one of the most overlooked players in this transition is cortisol. So let's talk about what is actually menopause. So menopause is officially defined as a 12 consecutive months without a menstrual period. The average age of menopause in North America and Europe is approximately 51 years old, although it may occur earlier or later. The years leading up to menopause are known as perimenopause. This transition can begin 5 to 15 years before menopause itself. So you can be quite young. Many women in their late 30s and 40s are already experiencing hormonal changes without realizing it. Perimenopause is often where symptoms first appear. Women may notice anxiety, sleep disturbances, weight gain, brain fog, mood changes, irregular cycles, hot flashes, night sweat, fatigue, memory difficulties, increased stress sensitivity. So these symptoms are not imaginary. They are rooted in real physiological changes. So let's talk what happens to estrogen. During reproductive years, the ovaries produce estrogen. Estrogen is much more than a reproductive hormone. It influences brain function, mood, memory, bone health, cardiovascular health, blood sugar regulation, skin health, immune function, inflammation, neurotransmitter production. As women enter perimenopause, estrogen production becomes less predictable. Instead of gradually declining in a straight line, estrogen often fluctuates dramatically. So 1 month estrogen may be high, the next month it may drop significantly. These fluctuations often contribute to symptoms. Women frequently describe feeling as though they are losing control of their bodies, actually. So in reality, their hormones are becoming less predictable. That's estrogen. And what happens to progesterone? One of the earliest hormonal changes in perimenopause is declining progesterone. This is extremely important. Progesterone is often referred to as nature's calming hormone. Progesterone influences GABA receptors in the brain, and GABA is one of the primary calming neurotransmitters, and it's very important for sleep. So, healthy progesterone levels help promote relaxation, calmness, better sleep, emotional stability. As progesterone declines, many women experience increased anxiety, irritability, insomnia, feeling overwhelmed, greater sensitivity to stress. Many women believe something is wrong with them. In reality, one of the body's natural calming influences is decreasing. The progesterone is the boss. So, now let's talk to cortisol connection and the menopause. So, let's discuss why cortisol becomes so important. The ovaries gradually produce less estrogen and progesterone during menopause. The adrenal glands becomes increasingly important. Remember, the adrenal glands are responsible for producing cortisol. They also participate in producing certain sex hormone precursors. If a woman has experienced decades of chronic stress, poor sleep, blood sugar instability, overexercising, restrictive dieting, emotional trauma, or burnout, her stress response system may already be struggling. So now menopause arrives. Suddenly, the body asks even more of the adrenal glands. This is one reason some women notice symptoms intensify dramatically during perimenopause. The nervous system becomes more reactive. So recovery becomes slower, sleep becomes lighter, anxiety becomes more common. The same workload that left manageable at the age 35 may feel overwhelming at the age 52. This is not weakness. This is physiology. So, don't feel that it's something really, something horrible happening to you. No, this is physiology. This is natural process we have to go through, unfortunately, but we always have the option to go through that better, smoothly, and without much struggling. So the most important is, of course, is sleep, because as you heard, the GABA, progesterone, and so on. So sleep disturbances are among the most common menopause complaints. Several mechanisms contribute. First, declining progesterone reduces calming signal in the brain. Second, fluctuating estrogen can affect body temperature regulation. Third, elevated cortisol disrupt normal circadian rhythm. Many women describe waking between 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. It even can mean liver, but why? Because the hormones are produced there. So this often corresponds with changes in cortisol patterns. Instead of remaining low throughout the night, cortisol may rise prematurely. The brain interprets this as a signal to wake up. Women frequently report, "My body is exhausted, but my mind is fully awake." This is often a nervous system issue as much as a hormone issue. So, sleep is very important. We have focused on that a lot. So as I mentioned before, grab the magnesium, grab the healthy fat before sleep, and breathing exercise also. Just play the meditation. That is going to help you fall asleep. So not in the headphones, not just have the phone beside you on the flight mode. So, and the meditation still going on. So just download it probably from Spotify, because then it's working even offline. and it's going to help you to calm down and kind of fall asleep. It's really, really good help. So let's talk about the menopause, belly fat, and insulin resistance, because it's very important. One of the most frustrating symptoms is weight gain around the abdomen. So many women tell me, I'm eating the same way I always have. Nothing has changed. Yet the scale continues to increase. Several biological mechanisms contribute. Declining estrogen affects insulin sensitivity, fat distribution, muscle mass, and energy expenditure. So at the same time, elevated cortisol encourages fat storage around the abdominal region. From an evolutionary perspective, this was protective. The body perceived stress and attempted to store energy for survival. Unfortunately, in modern life, this often becomes persistent abdominal weight gain. This is why severe calorie restriction rarely works during menopause. The body is already perceiving stress. More stress usually makes the problem worse. So what to do at this point? Always focus on nutrition that decrease cravings. So again, I cannot express more enough. Fat and protein first. Doesn't matter which one. It's all up to you. But fat and then protein. Very healthy quality of both. Because the rest, we kind of don't need it. The body doesn't need it at that point. So you need energy, it's from fat. You need for the muscles is the protein. So you know that the liver can produce kind of glucose from fat. So it communicates with pancreas. So don't worry. Really, the body is very intelligent. And evolutionarily, we are supposed to have more fat and protein. Not even just that. But again, everybody's different. Everybody's unique. If you need help, let me know. I'm here for you here. So let's talk about the natural strategies for menopause. So we can discuss the evidence-informed approaches that support women naturally. So again, prioritize fat and protein, because protein becomes increasingly important during that time. So it supports muscle maintenance, blood sugar regulation, satiety, metabolism, neurotransmitter production. So many experts recommend approximately 25 to 40 grams of protein per meal, depending on individual needs. Not for everybody the same. Then, of course, strength training. So one of the most effective interventions available. Strength training helps preserve muscle, improve insulin sensitivity, support bone density, improve metabolic health, increase resilience. Muscles is a botanical organ. Metabolic organ, sorry. Talking too much today. Protecting muscle is essential during menopause, of course. And what I usually suggesting, grab the trampoline or rebounder. It's really good, just the little ones, just like that. You don't need to jump 1-2 meters high, but just a little bit, and kind of that resistance training. It's really good for your bones, bone density, the ligaments, cartilage, and everything, for your circulation, lymphatic system. And it's really good even to get the vibration plate. Or if you have gym that they have power plate, go and do it after workout. It's amazing stuff. Swimming, it's great for the lymphatic system circulation. So always try to find a pool that they use the sea salt instead of chlorine, but it's really great. Or go somewhere like in the natural way to do swimming, like in the river, lakes, and so on. So that's about the movement. Of course, morning sunlight. As I mentioned before, every morning, if you have the sun, go out and let the sun go on your skin, to your eyes, like just 5-10 minutes. Look into it. You will see big differences very soon. And the morning light helps regulate the circadian rhythms, because that influences cortisol timing, melatonin production, sleep quality, and mood. Really, every 10 to 20 minutes outdoors, shortly after waking, can be very beneficial, especially the melatonin production, because as you know, melatonin actually starts produce in the morning. It needs really a long time, because the melatonin chain production is really, really huge and long. So, blood sugar stability. So frequent blood sugar spikes and crashes create additional stress signals. Focus on meals that contain protein, healthy fats, and the rest kind of If you want some fiber and glucose, grab berries, fruit, like wild berries only, because that's actually when it's that glucose and fiber in that fruit, it's kind of working together very well, and it's not harming liver that much. So the liver is able to process that easier than if you take the simple fast carbohydrates or sugar. So stable blood sugar often results in more stable mood and more stable cortisol patterns. So, and what herbs we can take? And herbs should never be viewed as a magic pills, that's for sure. However, some have demonstrated promising evidence for menopausal support. But as my great-grandmother always said, the herbs can help you or heal you, but the herbs can kill you also. So, or harming you. So be very careful, be like having huge respect to herbs. It's very important. Always use them with cautious and usually just short them only when your body needs. So first one, black cohosh, traditionally used for hot flashes, menopausal symptoms. Some studies suggest benefits for vasomotor symptoms, although results are mixed. So, but black cohosh is usually first option. Then red clover, that contain isoflavones that may provide mild phytoestrogenic activity. So some women report improvements in hot flashes and well-being. The most common one that people, like women, takes is sage, traditionally used for excessive sweating and hot flashes. Growing evidence suggests potential benefits for menopausal comfort. I usually recommend a Vogel company, because they have really, you take just 1 tablet a day and it works amazingly. Or the St. Francis, I believe they have that tincture for the menopause, and it's amazing too. Then of course ashwagandha, as we talked earlier, and rhodiola, but ashwagandha actually can support the stress resilience, so sleep quality and emotional well-being. So it's more about that part during the menopause to stress-related symptoms. Rhodiola is usually used when we need to support the adaptation to stress and mental fatigue. So it usually helps for women experiencing exhaustion and reduce resilience. And again, reishi mushroom and saffron, of course. Reishi, of course, that's really even associated to longevity and emotional balance. But if you take it properly and really consistently, it's going to improve your sleep and greater sense of calm, and it will help you to ground. So it's really helping with grounding. Saffron, as we talked, this botanic, I love it because it's really good. It has a lot of antioxidants. It has the vitamin A. It has even like, it can be viable during periods of hormonal transition. So what our grandmothers did, right? Again. So of course, it's like the many women naturally incorporated protective practices into daily life. So they spend again more time outdoors. They walk a lot. They maintain stronger social connections. They cook whole foods. They spend less time under artificial light, had fewer digital stressors, participated in community activities, and these lifestyle factors likely contribute more to hormonal resilience than many people realize. So sometimes the most effective interventions are not new, they are timeless. So an emotional transformation during menopause. So because menopause, it's not only a biological transition. So for many women, it is also an emotional transformation. And that's actually the most common one. So a period re-evaluation, period of reflection, and period of asking what truly matters, what no longer serves me, what kind of life do I want moving forward. Many women discover they become less willing to tolerate chronic stress, unhealthy relationships, people-pleasing, and self-neglect. This shift is not a flaw. It may be one of menopause's greatest gifts, the invitation to finally prioritize yourself, not from selfishness, but from wisdom. Because after spending decades caring for everyone else, the body often begins asking for care in return. And perhaps that is the one of the most important lessons of menopause. So not simply surviving hormonal change, but learning how to thrive through it. That's all about the menopausal and cortisol. So you can see it doesn't need to be easy, but it's not even difficult. to deal with that. You just need to know what works for your body, and that's how we figure it out. Just listen to your body. But the stress management, the cortisol management, it's really important. And as I mentioned, some botanicals you can use, some supplements that usually the GABA, it really works, that helps with the sleep. And you can even get some tinctures that are specifically for the menopause and the stress management. So you can grab even for the stress. It's good L-theanine. It's for the relaxation. It's that magnesium, like really anytime, not even through menopause, perimenopause, women need a lot of magnesium. So try to get as much as you can. And if you have a little bit issue with the digestion, because sometimes during menopause we can have a little bit slower digestion because we don't have that enough hormone. So just grab the magnesium citrate. So magnesium citrate helps with actually constipation. So take it before you go to bed, and in the morning it will be a nice relief, and naturally, so no laxative synthetic things, so that might help you too. I'm sorry for the little noise and the neighbors drilling something but we are at the end, and I hope it helped you a little bit to understand what is the menopause and how it's connected with the cortisol. So it's really tough time for the body. It's already under the stress because this transition. So be very gentle to your body, be very gentle to yourself, look after yourself, take care of yourself, love yourself, please, and do your best for your body. If you want the hormonal balance, I always recommend to all women when they're going through this hormonal yoga therapy. If you want some contacts of instructors of this yoga, I can give you. I have in Canada, in the States. In Europe, I have also. So whenever you live, I have contacts on this practice, because hormone yoga therapy, it's amazing. You can check my reels. I just show that I do that every single morning. It really helps with the hormonal balance. It even helps with fertility and so on. And it's not just for women, it's even for the men. So if you're interested, let me know. I can give you the contacts, and you can start doing that, because you need a little bit guidance, because it's a lot about the breathing, and a little bit different breathing than what we do on daily basis. So, but let me know. I can help you with that too. And of course the nutrition. So always fat, protein, very high quality, and animal-based preferred. If you're vegetarian, just combine the proper foods that's going to give you the complete protein and healthy fat. And of course you can do the more and more things, but again, it's very individual. So if you need any help, let me know, book the appointment with me, and we can talk about it more, and then I can help you anytime. So thank you for listening. Today's episode was really long, but I'm so grateful that I could do that, because it's my biggest passion to help others. And let me know about the other topics, what you're really interested in, what you want me to talk about. And if you want, let me know. I should do the podcast with some guest, and give me the contacts, and I can do it. Like, I don't have any issue with that. So thank you very much for listening and watching. I'm really, really grateful for your support. Check my website for all the information, so begasoulnutrition.com. Text me on WhatsApp, email me. I'm here for you. Thank you so much, and I wish you lovely, hopefully summer day. If you're in the southern hemisphere, hopefully not so cold day. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Bye.